to have you here, Dr. Battle, to talk about that. We were so excited when you made this announcement. We were so excited because so many times we are talked at and really not like included in the conversation. So when I heard those words come out of your mouth, that you listen to parents, I was so filled with joy. And so tonight, guys, I want to introduce our very own Black history making director of schools, Dr. Adrienne Battle. But I want Dr. Battle, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, because a lot of our parents probably they just see you on TV and they just see you talk about the things in the school district, but really don't know who you are. So let's tell them a little bit about yourself, and welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here. Honored to spend some time with you tonight, Sonia, and the rest of the team. The first thing I'll say is I'm a native Nashvilleian. I was born and raised right here in Nashville. Graduated from MNPS, and because of the great teachers and principals and coaches that I've had an opportunity to work with and who work with me as a young child and as an aspiring young person, I just carved out the desire to be a professional educator. It's what I knew I wanted to do at a very young age, and just simply because I was seeing how my teachers poured into me and they really did care about me as an individual. So I went away to college. I came back as quickly as I could because I knew I wanted to teach and serve right here in MNPS. And I've had the pleasure of serving in many, many different capacities, y'all. And I'm going to name a few of them just because I put on these hats all the time as I'm thinking and planning. But as a teacher, as a coach, as an assistant principal, a district administrator, previous community superintendent. I do have little ones myself, so always putting on that parent hat as I'm thinking through things. And so it is just critical work for me. And I could not be more honored to serve the school district that prepared me for college and for life and career. And I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it at the top of our conversation today. I want for our students what I received and more, not by chance, but by design, because we recognize and we are all in partnership advocating for the best for all of our MNPS students.
Thank you, Dr. Battle. And you have some teammates here, and I want to make sure that we acknowledge them. And I like to say teammates because it's a team effort. We have Dr. Springer and Dr. Changas, who will also be here to help to guide this conversation. And you know what? I want to dive right in, Dr. Battle, because we're excited for you to talk about personalized learning. We know that it's important to look at our children as life's visions and as individuals who we need to invest in and make sure that they're successful. Y'all know how I feel about the little people. I just love them, and just see the greatness in each and every one of them. And so I want to go ahead and get started so that the families of Nashville Propel and those who are listening can hear about your core tenets.
All right, we will jump right in. Excellent. Just smooth transitions. I love it. Very excited to talk about where we are as a school district. And what we really knew prior to the pandemic, what we've learned. I mean, let's be honest, we've learned a lot during this pandemic. There was no playbook out there for navigating, as we've talked about, our personal space, but also in this professional space and educating our student space around how to respond, and definitely not being equipped with the resources and tools to make it happen, but also in planning around the future. Recognizing that we know exactly what it's going to take to get our students where they need and deserve to be. And so what I'm going to talk to you tonight is briefly about what our core tenets are, what focus outcomes we've established for our students, and what we're going to do as a system to pull and coordinate our efforts to give every MNPS student the best supports and the most appropriate supports that they need as an individual to make that happen. So if we can advance to the next slide, please. All right. So again, our MNPS partnerships is about aligning those core tenets, focus outcomes, and signature initiatives. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to walk you through what these terms mean and how we're connecting all of these efforts to get the biggest impact, the biggest outcomes for everyone. Next slide. I'm going to start first with our North Star. This is MNPS's North Star, and that is to establish MNPS as the premier large school district in Tennessee and beyond, not just here in our state, but in our region and across the country. Again, we've learned a lot during this pandemic, and there have been a lot of efforts and initiatives, a lot of innovation that we've had to really rely on to make sure that we're cutting edge, that we're at the front of the pack in response to our students. And that's what it's all about, being engaging and responsive to all of our students every single day. With our core tenet, what we have guiding us towards our North Star are our core tenets. This is why we need to put forth the continuous improvement models we need to ensure these outcomes. And I'm going to unpack them for you just briefly. This is what we've been working on for months now to make sure that we're being as responsive as possible. The first core tenet we have is that MNPS will re-envision central office as a support hub. Again, I've worn many different hats in our district, and I know how critically important it is to make sure our central office is really a support hub, that one-stop shop, those coordinated efforts to do everything in our powers to direct our resources, our programs, our strategies with quality directly to our students through our schools. And so that's our first core tenet. The second core tenet is to empower and equip leaders at all levels. It is my belief, it is our belief as MNPS that no matter which seat any employee sits in, any stakeholder sits in, that they are a leader. And it is our responsibility to continue to empower and equipping with the right knowledge, the right skills, the right tools and resources to leverage and maximize everything we've got, because together we can achieve just about anything. The third one is to create and support engaging, rigorous, and personalized learning experiences for all students. This one is near and dear to me, y'all, because as a previous MNPS student, I know how critically important it was for me to have a personalized learning experience, not reducing the expectations. So high expectations, what this does is align that with high supports for all of our students. And the fourth core tenet is to identify and eliminate inequities. This is moving away from the surface conversation and being deeply rooted, looking at the deep-rooted causes of inequities that we might see across our system, not just in teaching and learning in our curriculum and instruction, but in everything that we do, from transportation to nutrition services, to wraparound services, to social emotional learning supports, and all things wrap around for our students. And so we're hard at work identifying and eliminating inequity so that we're not reactive, but being able to be proactively engaged and having concerted efforts around what it's going to take to give every student what they need when they need it. Next slide, please. So zooming out from those core tenets, we have our focus outcomes. And the one question that we have consistently received, I know I have as a director of schools, my team members have, and colleagues have as well, is through this time, what are we expecting for our students? And I'll simply put it this way, again, high expectations. What we needed to do was to make sure that we were delivering high supports to and on behalf of our students and our families. So our focus outcomes have remained pretty consistent. What we want to do is to be explicit around those focus outcomes for every student given their respective grade level. So we have very specific outcomes around literacy, around numeracy, around social emotional learning, including our SEL competencies and our attendance rates. We don't want just one bubble attendance rate and we have students who are not engaging at the level that they need to. And so we've created a focus outcome for every student to have high engagement and to be present every single day. And the fourth focus outcome is around transitions. Transitions have always been important to our students, but they're even more important now that we've had a very unique school year, one that I know I didn't experience, likely you did not experience, but our students surely have as a K-12 student in MNPS. And so we're calling out and being intentional around the planning piece and the connection piece with our students, knowing again where their talents, where their aspirations are, so they have clear plans as they matriculate through our system from tier to tier and then on to post-secondary and into their careers. Aligned to our focus outcomes, we have created a visual to help everyone kind of follow along, if you will, with what's expected for every student. We want this to be known because as I see it, when students are in school, we want to be having these conversations. When students are at home, we want to be having these conversations. And if they're down the street at the park, whatever extracurricular activities they're engaged in, we want this to be known and for conversations to be happening around it. So we're being very transparent about those focus outcomes. So what you see here is on your left, you see a visual of the focus outcomes for our pre-K through 4 students. Again, literacy, numeracy, attendance, social emotional learning. And then to your right, you see grade 5, and they have their literacy, numeracy, social emotional learning, attendance, and transition focus outcome. Because remember, those transition preparation midpoints are really situated based upon the planning that needs to happen for students to matriculate from one tier to the next. On the next slide, you will see the visuals related to grades 6 through 8 on your left. On your right, you see grades 9 through 10. And then on the next slide, you see a visual representation of grades 11 through 12. And what we've tried to do is pay close attention to where students should be to make sure that they're on a path towards success. We don't want the afterthought. We don't want our students to get near graduation and then we're recognizing or acknowledging spaces where they have gaps. So this is a really aligned effort of pathway for every student. So we have checkpoints and can have really robust conversations around where students are and what it's going to take to get them back on track or to accelerate their outcomes. Now, one of the things that sometimes is missing when you're rolling out focused outcomes and really grounding yourself around your core tenets is what it's going to take to make sure every student crosses that finish line, right? That they get there, that they realize what it is that we want for every one of our students, every one of our young people. And so we have articulated and really pulled together how our support hub will be aligning our efforts to directly support in partnership our schools. So understanding from the ground up, we need to know exactly what our students need to equip our leaders, our teachers, our support staff, and to be supported well through our support hub in partnership with our parents and our community to make these signature initiatives come alive. But again, they are a response to, they are a plan around what it's going to take in order to make that happen. I'm going to start to unpack. I'm going to unpack just a few of these so you have a good idea around how responsive our goal is to be to the needs of our students, to be responsive to what we've heard from our parents and our community of what it's going to take. So the first one here, right in the middle, and we're going to come back to it in just a moment, is our personalized student dashboard. Very excited to talk through our signature initiative because we will, as a district, launch a personalized student dashboard where every student, every parent, every MNPS employee has at their fingertips 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, access to where our students are, to progress monitor, and then in our long-term goals, to be able to interact with that system to determine next steps. What should we be advocating around? What should we be doing? We'll all be empowered with that information to make sure that we are meeting and exceeding our goals at every turn. Y'all, I'm excited about this. And I've been getting lots of other feedback around some other areas that we want to represent in our student dashboard. It will be a continuous improvement model. When we launch it, we're going to launch it because we want to get it out there and start to get feedback around how it might evolve into an even greater asset to us as a community. And we were thinking about how to make sure that it is easily accessible to everyone, right? So come on this journey with us. We are launching a personalized student dashboard. It will house students' data, their longitudinal data. We're looking at, again, plugging in additional resources and programs around what to do. If you're interested in accelerating or we need to make additional learning progress, it will all be in one place for everyone to be equipped and empowered with the information that they need and deserve. I want to talk a little bit about our Literacy Reimagined work, because in the next few weeks, we're going to be launching a new MNPS Literacy Reimagined literacy framework to really ground us on literacy, first starting at the elementary space. So K-5 will be launching a new literacy framework that level sets everything. And I'm going to remind us, we knew a lot about the pandemic. We knew a lot about literacy and what was needed prior to the pandemic. We learned even more during the pandemic, and now we know what we should be striving for the future. So that literacy framework, again, will redefine what literacy looks like in Metro Nashville Public Schools. It will define literacy for us. It will define and give the visual representation of what a literacy block should look like in all of our K-5 classrooms. Most importantly, it's going to equip our educators, our leaders, with the proper tools, resources, and training that they need. And it is going to put the appropriate resources and tools into the hands of our students. So we are planning to invest in literacy. We plan to be very coordinated in that investment across all of our schools. Again, this is not by chance. This is making sure that every school, every elementary school in MNPS is equipped and providing high literacy supports and instruction for every student and intervening as frequently and often as we need to. So that's Literacy Reimagined. We're starting in the K-5 space. We will be branching out to middle school and through high school, and then we'll move over to the numeracy space because all of our content areas matter. And we know that integration, particularly starting with literacy, will help really springboard us to success in other content areas. So exciting work. I'm going to talk about two more, and then I'm going to kick it over to my team to dig a little bit deeper into the personalized student dashboard. We are also launching high dosage tutoring initiative in MNPS. And we're going to start with a few pilot schools, and then we're going to take it to scale based upon how many volunteers we have and how quickly we can get everyone onboarded. But high dosage tutoring, and I've had parents ask me this question, what about my individual student when they have individual needs? What additional supports and layers of support is MNPS focused on? High dosage tutoring is one of them. And if you have been coming along with the conversation, you know that high dosage tutoring is a high yield strategy as you're talking about each individual student meeting their goals. And so we're taking the best practices, the best research-based practices, and they are being built into a robust high dosage tutoring right here in our district. We're talking about high levels of frequency. We're talking about trained tutors. We have built out a platform that will pair students with tutors based upon needs and skill sets. We are partnering with our community partners, Pencil and others, to make sure that we have a strong onboarding process so that anyone who is interested in volunteering with our students and tutoring and giving back and supporting their individual needs has an opportunity to do that. And so that's what our high dosage tutoring will look like. And I'm going to pop over before I wrap up and talk about our Promising Scholars Signature Initiative. MNPS will be launching a Promising Scholars Academy over the summer. We've been planning for this for many, many months. We're talking about that engaging, rigorous, personalized summer learning experiences that will be necessary for our students during the summer. So parents who are watching or on the call know that we will be launching a robust summer learning opportunity under the umbrella of Promising Scholars, because our commitment is we're not going to leave any student at the finish line at the end of the school year in May. We're going to make sure that we continue to provide robust learning experiences for every student, doing and taking whatever we can to make sure everyone gets what they deserve. Now, before I turn it over to Paul Jenkins, who is our Executive Officer of Research, Evaluation, and Assessment, to talk to you more about our personalized student dashboard, I will not leave you without emphasizing that our tagline is every student known. That is what we're going after in MNPS, because as a parent, I've heard you. What you want is for your child or your children to be known. So our expectation and what we're building our capacity around is for every student to be known, to be seen, to be cared for, and to be supported. And so I'm going to kick it over first to Dr. Paul Changus, who's going to walk you through a little bit deeper around our personalized student dashboard that will help us and support us in making sure every MNPS student is known. Dr. Changus.
Thank you, Dr. Battle. I'm happy to be here and to talk about the personalized student dashboard. The educational research literature is very clear that they've identified that timely and effective feedback is one of the most powerful influences that affects student achievement. And that impact is enhanced when students are genuinely involved in the goal setting process and identifying short-term targets. With timely feedback and inclusion in goal setting, students can take ownership of their learning and their results. Now, the research also shows that parent involvement and parent expectations are critical factors in student achievement, which is why we're thrilled to be able to talk to a parent group such as yourself that's highly involved. Some of our students receive timely feedback, and some of our families are receiving good information about their students' performance beyond just course grades, but we want to ensure that all families are getting timely information. This will empower students and families. So the personalized student dashboard will bridge that current gap that we have by providing students and parents timely access to critical information. We go to the next slide. As Dr. Battle indicated, this will be an evolving process. Phase 1 is going to roll out this spring, and it will be a step in the right direction. We're going to provide assessment data and behavior data in addition to the course grades and attendance information that's currently available. We're receiving input now from some of our school leaders as we start thinking about the next phase that we start rolling out next year. But very soon we'll be bringing in families to this conversation and other stakeholders as we look forward to the next steps and providing actionable data that will show growth or progress over time. We want to have short-term targets in there that parents can monitor as their students move forward. So this phased work will build a personalized student dashboard should provide value to families and to students by highlighting their key current academic and non-academic performance. It'll give us a space to celebrate accomplishments, but also to eventually have resources in there when we need to seek additional resources and supports. This information is going to elevate student voice and ownership in the educational journey. Once again, the goal is to empower our students and families, and we look forward to having this dialogue as we go forward in the near future and to hear your requests. And with that, we'll move on to the next slide. Next presenter.
Dr. Springer is going to come on for just a moment because, one of the things we recognize is that this is going to take strong partnerships. It's going to take high levels of engagement, and we want that. And so we've been very clear about carving out opportunities for those partnerships and being even more explicit around how that will take place and how those partnerships will help us accelerate outcomes. So Dr. Springer, I'll kick it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Battle. Thank you. As we highlight our Director of Schools, Dr. Battle, who charges us with not only talking the talk, but also walking the walk as it relates to every student known, as well as really establishing meaningful partnership with our community, with our leaders across the city of Nashville. And so today, I just really want to just share with you some opportunities that will present themselves over the next few weeks. Partnership engagement, family engagement, community engagement is definitely key, has been the key to our success, and will continue to be just that. So allow me to highlight just a few opportunities. One, Dr. Battle mentioned and Dr. Changus mentioned the student dashboard. up and coming, very critical signature practice for our school district. We will have opportunities for the community to engage in discussion, engage in input, and we want you all to definitely be a part of it, and we invite you to do just that. We know that we are, Dr. Battle mentioned high dosage tutoring. We want to meet our students' needs exactly where they are. And we know that we can do that with our partners, our community, leaning in to be matched up with our schools to provide that high dosage tutoring 3 times a week. Not the run of the mill kind of tutoring, that intense tutoring, but with the proper supports and training for those who have volunteered to do so. So if you are interested, I invite you to go to pencilforschools.org and sign up for that opportunity. Another opportunity is our virtual help centers, and we support our students within the community with their tech needs. And we have opportunities for volunteerism Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. If anyone is interested in signing up to support our virtual help centers, which will not only be a signature practice for this school year, but also as long as our families and students need it, we invite you to go to handsonnashville.org. That's HON.org to sign up for those opportunities. We have help centers at 4 different locations. One at Pearl Cone High School. The second is at Maplewood High School. We have another 3rd location at Overton High School. And then the 4th location is Glencliff High School. We welcome you in to support. And then finally, it's March and it's Read Me Week. Our Read Me Weeks are going to kick off here in the next few weeks, few days. And we invite you to go read in our neighborhood schools to our students. There are ample opportunities to do just that. And even though we'll be virtual, our students really truly need that continued connection with not only our staff, but our community as well. And so we invite you to take part in those volunteer opportunities. I'll run them back again. When we have community engagement activities, please participate and provide your input. The second is participate or volunteer for the high dosage tutoring opportunity through pencilforschools.org, virtual help centers through handsonnashville.org or HON.org, and Read Me Week. To sign up, read, contact your neighborhood school to read to a student. So as you can see, there are ample opportunities to really assist and support in making our core tenets, our focus outcomes, and our signature practices come alive. And we just invite you and we welcome you to participate in these opportunities. And with that, I will turn it back over to Dr. Adrienne Battle, our fearless leader in Metro Nashville Public Schools.
Thank you so much, Dr. Springer and Dr. Changus, for coming on and giving some more in-depth information around our personalized student dashboard, as well as partnership opportunities. And so like I shared before, I wanted to make sure you all had some insight into our plans. I didn't get a chance to unpack everything. We will be doing that in the next weeks and months to come. This will be an ongoing conversation because we know it is our goal and our responsibility to continue to adapt to the needs of our students. And that's what we're committed to do. So thank you so much for the time to share with you all today and to share more about who I am and my vision for MNPS. And so with that, Sonia, I'll turn it back over to you. I think you may be muted.
I am. I was muted. So I'll start over. Thank you, Dr. Battle. And thank you, Dr. Changus, who is the Executive Director of Research, Assessment, and Evaluation. And thank you, Dr. Springer, who is the Chief of Student Services. So thank you guys for joining us. We're going to open it up for some questions from our audience, if you don't mind, Dr. Battle.
Sure.
And again, I mean, this is great to be able to look at every student and make them known, and every parent, and then make every decision together is our hope. And so that hasn't been done before, Dr. Battle. So we're very excited about this time. And so Victoria Gordon has asked, will the dashboard be accessible on mobile devices for families on the go?
Yes, and Dr. Changus, if you can come back on the screen, I don't want to take your thunder here because you and your team have been working hard on this one. So I'll let you jump in and respond.
Well, you're welcome to share the thunder here, Dr. Battle, but no, it will be available through mobile devices. In the short term, we'll be utilizing the parent portal that we have and pushing out additional information. Going forward, we're looking at other platforms or enhancements that we have, but we know that being able to access it from anywhere is a goal.
Thank you. I think that's very important to a lot of our families as we experience the digital divide and issues with technology. Just about everybody has a cell phone. And so that would be so great to be able to access that. And as far as navigation, will there be any types of training for the educators and for the parents and for the students? Because y'all know, see, we was trying to get ready for this speaker series. We was all over here fumbling with all this technology. So are we gonna get some training prior to?
So I'll start the conversation. Dr. Battle can join in. I'm a big believer. You don't just throw out numbers and push out data without some context, without training materials. And we certainly want our educators to know what parents have available so that they can support them as well. This should be part of ongoing conversations we have between teachers and parents on the performance of children. So absolutely, that there will be training opportunities. I'm not sure yet when, but we don't want to just throw data out there without it being informative.
Yeah, and if I can add here, Sonia, this is a place that we have been focused on understanding that we want to close this gap and we want to provide more opportunities for our parents and our families to be even more authentically engaged in the learning and the progress of their students. And so in thinking about the personalized student dashboard and thinking about the literacy reimagined and thinking about, all those signature initiatives, there is some level of parent training or engagement that we're planning around because, and I'm just going to go back to the literacy space. There is still so much that students can be doing at home and in the community, but it's our responsibility to equip parents with, training and ways, easy ways, right, to reinforce what students may be learning in school. So personalized student dashboard, literacy reimagined, and other signature initiatives, we are planning training for our parents and other leaders, as well as, if I can go back to the personalized dashboard for just a moment, thinking about accessibility with the apps and being able to pull up on the phone or device. We also know while we've been in this virtual space, we could not completely abandon the need for hard copies and sharing information in that way as well, in case you did run into technical difficulties or meeting the needs or the style of the student or the parent. And so we're thinking about all of that and planning for it as we begin to launch.
And wonderful. Dr. Kanisha Burke, one of our powerful parents, is asking, is this plan written out with phases and where can we find it? When can this great plan be revealed to us all and shared and really be able to give feedback before it's even implemented? The parents of Nashville Propel are looking forward to working with you guys to pilot and to give feedback and to really be involved in this conversation. So do you guys have written out phases of the plan, and when will you make this available?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that the short-term goal, we have some pretty aggressive timelines to get something in place by May 1. And right now, the biggest limiting factor is using an existing platform and pushing out information in that platform. So the real planning is going to be going forward to go beyond the current parent portal and to get the longitudinal data and other information in there. We're still in the early stages for the planning there, but I anticipate in another month or so we should have a timeline for bringing in our stakeholders and start to planning for next year. But we're doing this right now with existing resources, and there are a number of options in our parent portal that we just haven't utilized for limitations that we have with our technology team has pulled in a lot of directions, but they've been great to engage in this work. We all know that this is important, and we're gonna have something rolling here in a couple of months.
Okay. So let's talk about something that you guys we're talking about. So we're talking about timelines, and we just recently met, and so I think we can celebrate something that you guys are already moving forward. But the goal of having this implemented by the fall of 2021. Let's talk about that. Let's celebrate that, Dr. Battle. I think parents need to hear that. So I think we need to mention that with the goal to get this thing on the road, the show on the road, so we can recover these children.
Yes, you're exactly correct. As Dr. Changus mentioned, we have some very aggressive goals around all of our signature initiatives, as well as the personalized student dashboard. And so this spring, we'll be launching the first version of the personalized dashboard. We will continue to revamp and to increase capacity around that personalized dashboard over the summer and into next school year. And I want everyone to come along with me on this journey, because it will evolve over time, but it will be evolving based upon your feedback, stakeholder engagement. We want to be responsive to the needs of our family. So it's possible that the first go, you'll have information and you'll want some more, and that's okay, because we'll be engaging our stakeholders to get more information about what that is and what it's going to take to get the dashboard where we want it. So,
okay, so this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part when the kids come in and start talking.
and I will tell you, this is a first. But we're launching the dashboard very soon, and look forward to continued engagement as we continue to build it out.
Mama, I love it. I love hearing the mama. It just humanizes everything and the work we do and the work we have to do together. So Dr. Battle, I love it. Don't tell them to be quiet. I love it. You can ask Christian when Chris gets on here and starts talking about Spider-Man and jumping off stuff. I don't even want to talk to Christian no more. I want to see Chris. So Thomas Driver, he asked, what is the goal for families that you want to accomplish with the personalized learning plan? So I think you just kind of hit that a little bit about what you want to do as far as getting started. But if you had something else to add to that, that would be, good. So Stephanie said, love on that baby.
Absolutely. All we can give them every day. Dr. Changus, you want to jump in first, and then I can highlight any additional?
Well, as I said, we know that family engagement is a critical factor in the work we do, and we just want to be able to have that dialogue. We don't want to have to rely on schools pushing out paper reports that might take days, weeks, who knows how long before they get there. And then do you know how to interpret those when you get the report? So we want you to be able to have on-demand access to have the timely conversations that are necessary and to be part of the goal-setting process. We know that when students and parents are involved in the process of setting goals, monitoring those, that it does have a positive impact.
Wonderful. And I do have a question about the implementation and the development. A lot of parents are saying that they're having trouble with IEPs. What do you think, or what do you wonder about how to include the IEP information within these plans? Have you been able to think that through? How will it affect that whole process? Because a lot of parents feel like there's a disconnect between the plan and the teachers knowing what those plans look like. Will you be incorporating those plans into this dashboard?
Well, I think we're already jumping into phase 2 of this process. But I think the goal is eventually to have IEPs and the learning plans that our English learners have, that type of information available to us. That's going to take a little time. I don't know that it's going to, it's possible in the coming year we can see that happen. But we've got the work on our side right now is to identify the various data sources and systems. A lot of that information that's in the IEP is coming from a different data source.
Gotcha.
And we just have to be careful in terms of pushing that out and getting it right. But, right now, like I said, behavior data, assessment data, as we move forward with college and career readiness information, ready graduate data, we hope to have that pushed out in the coming year. Trust me, we'll have the opportunity to have these conversations soon to talk about our wish list and then put a timeline with that. But we want you to have the information that parents need to help in the decision process.
And it sounds like we have a lot of questions around children with IEP. So I think maybe it's something that we probably need to really discuss and see how we can propel that conversation forward a little faster. Is this plan? Is this going to be district wide in every school? Everybody doing the same thing, Dr. Battle?
So the personalized student dashboard will be consistent across every MNPS school. And so all of our district-run schools will have access to the personalized student dashboard. The trainings will be common among schools. We might vary them by tier based upon the data that will be made accessible, but it is our expectation that it will be leveraged across all MNPS schools.
Thank you. Let's see. So let's move on to the tutoring, the robust tutoring that you want to have. Let's talk about that a little bit and how that's going to look. And I understand you're soliciting volunteers. I got some little tutorers over here that will probably be interested in doing that. But I want to talk about that a little bit more because on the state level, that has been an initiative too to address learning loss. And so if we could talk about that a little bit, that would be great.
Yes, I'll go a little bit more in detail around the tutoring program. We are looking for initially our core approach to this is the high dosage tutoring happening during the school day with our students. So as we're carving out our personalized learning time for our students with intention, we'll be layering in the one-to-one tutoring as one of our supports. And so, again, it will look very different. Now we have some tools and resources that we've not had in the past. So once we get to the space where we can offer in-person tutoring, we'll do that. In the meantime, we are training for virtual tutoring, again, with a training module that all tutors will go through and additional information and tools and resources. So they'll also, all our tutors will be leveraging our MNPS resources. So there's not a disconnect. We'll be layering in those supports for students who need it. Now, based upon our data and based upon feedback that we've already received from our parents, we know, again, that we've already identified literacy initially in the elementary space, numeracy in the middle space, a combination at the high school level. But as we continue to grow and expand the tutoring options, we'll continue to branch out into the very different content areas. So again, we're starting small. We're identifying schools with the greatest need now, and then we will continue to build out as we begin to onboard tutors. So we've been putting the call out. We started our training. We're leveraging some of our partnerships with our local colleges and universities to make sure we have as many trained hands on deck as possible to support our students during the school day. We're also looking at a component of what the after school tutoring will look like as well. And we'll also be looking at the out of school time space to offer additional tutoring opportunities.
Wonderful. And so we have parents asking about all schools. So parents, as we always educate you, charter schools are MNPS schools. They're public charter schools. They're operated by different operators. And so Dr. Battle, parents are wanting to know, will this be implemented across all schools?
Currently, the launching of the signature initiatives are for MNPS run schools. We, however, do have a leadership in our charter school office under the direction of Dr. Sharon Griffin, led by Mr. John Thomas. And they sit on our team and we share best practices and the vision for the district as a whole. So as we do with everything else, we'll be sharing the personalized student dashboard as well as our other signature initiatives, and staying ready to support our charter schools in their efforts as well. So we do remain in partnership in that space, and we'll lean on Dr. Griffin and Mr. Thomas to continue to elevate those initiatives and opportunities for partnership across all schools.
Well, it sounds like Nashville Propel parents will be elevating their voices about this too. That's what it's looking like. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay, so Stephanie is asking, can parent training be offered at multiple times to accommodate work hours? And this sounds like good feedback, Stephanie. That sounds like something.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. That is definitely something that we're planning for and around. Again, leveraging once we get there in-person options, also various virtual options. One of the benefits of having the virtual platforms is that you can also record options. We also recognize that sometimes you want the opportunity to interact, which is why we'll have to have some flexibility in times that the trainings are offered to support all of our families who want to engage in this manner.
And Stephanie, she asked a good question earlier. She said, as far as looking at progress for students, why growth projections instead of grade level mastery? Is there any reason why we talk more about growth projections versus grade level mastery?
Actually, and Paul, feel free to jump back on. We look at both, and that's an indication of both growth and achievement for our students. We should recognize and give space to the growth that students are making from day to day and from year to year. But we also want to bounce it up against grade level expectations. So we as a district utilize both for our students with regards to our focus outcomes for literacy and numeracy. We are looking at students meeting their individual growth projections, which have indications both at the growth level and academic achievement. Paul, do you want to add anything to that?
Well, you've hit on the key part. They're both important, and the growth part is particularly important when students are a little behind grade level, and we know that we've got to set goals that are a little more aggressive toward. It may be a 1 to 2 year plan to get a child onto grade level as measured by the state with regard to college and career readiness. But one of the goals of our student dashboard is to provide targets that are not just holding your own if you're not successful, but what's it going to take to get on the right path, the right trajectory to success. And we're reviewing data of students who have made great accomplishments and great growth over the years to set targets that are aggressive but realistic.
And here's the thing we don't want to miss in this conversation, because you can have a student who is meeting their grade level expectations and they were projected to meet their grade level. And we have to be very cognizant to continue to push that student as well. And so we don't want to just stop at meeting the grade level expectations when we have plenty of students who have the capacity, all of our students have the capacity to go beyond just the grade level expectations. And so that's why we have to pay attention to both, just because we don't want to limit, right? Or put a cap on how much, how well, and how fast our students can continue to grow and achieve.
Thank you. And one last question, because we're going to wrap it up. We like to start on time. We like to end on time because, some of us are hungry, hadn't eaten all day and hadn't held babies and all that stuff. And mine are about to bust through that door any minute. But as far as literacy goes, the question, the $1 million question that everyone is wanting to know about literacy, will it be based on the science, phonics, phonemic awareness, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension? All of those things, those components needed for a child to be able to read. I always say, you can say you're going to bake a cake, but if you don't put no flour in there, you can see it all day. I got a cake, but it's going to be flat. It's not going to rise. And so that is the $1 million question when we're talking about literacy. In order for us to really change the trajectory of reading in this district, what does literacy look like?
Yes, and Sonia Schultz, she knows how to get a few days and weeks ahead of us as we're nearing the point in time we're going to launch our new literacy framework. And this is what I'll tell you. This is what the team has been hard at work around. Taking a lot of the feedback and the data that we historically have as a district. We've taken that coupled with our current literacy approaches, our past literacy approaches. We've been engaging stakeholders for years, and we did another round of engagement over the last couple months to gain better insight around from our professional educators who are trained, right, at teaching students how to read and reading to learn. So we've engaged them. We've engaged many other of our other stakeholders, parents and board members and others to get their vision for literacy in MNPS. And what I'll say is that part of what you'll see in our framework is leveraging the best practices around literacy for our students, right? So looking at with our current literacy block, with our current approach to literacy, what has been successful for our students, and where is there opportunities for us to scale up our approach, our training, and our access to opportunities for our students to demonstrate what they know and are capable of. And so that's what you will see, that I'm hopeful you will see as we launch our new literacy framework.
Well, we look forward to talking more about literacy in the coming days. As you said, March is Read Me Week. And so we will be celebrating and highlighting literacy. So it's almost time for us to go. I wanted to see if you had any closing remarks before we leave, and we kind of give everybody a little update on what's next.
I always do. Remember, this work, again, is about every student being known, because we care for and care about every single one of our MNPS students. If you're listening in, if you're on this call again, know that we want strong engagement and strong partnership. There will be areas and spaces where we'll have to launch into our continuous improvement, getting better every day. But I'll leave you with this, because this is what I charge our leaders with every time I have an opportunity to connect with them, and it's relevant in every space. Our commitment is to know where we are, but don't stay there. We want to know where we are today and commit day after day to improving, to getting better, and providing what every MNPS student, every parent deserves as they navigate their K-12 learning experiences, because we will empower and equip our students as well to go off into their post-secondary opportunities, into life with what they need to be successful. So again, Sonia, Propel, thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you this evening. I'm looking forward to further engagement, and we'll definitely keep you updated as we launch, particularly our student personalized dashboard.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Battle, and thank you to the parents. I mean, I'm looking, there's parents everywhere on this thing. Thank you for watching and taking your time out from your family. This is what we know. We hadn't met a parent yet who doesn't love their child. And what we do is we teach parents how to effectively advocate, because we know that parents are advocating for their children. And so, guys, we're going to close tonight at 6:57. Just want to give you guys a few updates. Wednesday, we're going to be right here at 11 o'clock talking about the things that keep parents awake at night and the things that you care about most, right here on our Facebook page on Access Denied. And if you want to join us on the platform, inbox us, let us know. We'll be glad to have you to come and talk about the things that you care about the most. Carrie, hey, Sasha. They putting all the thank yous up there. Let's see who else we got. We got Candace and Jacqueline and Stephanie and Victoria. Okay, I ain't gonna call all y'all's names, but I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. I see Miss Alicia Crump and Miss Burke and Miss Gardner. All right, y'all, I'm gonna keep on calling out y'all's names. Thursday night is the last night of our cohort 7 class. They're finishing their 6 weeks of training and learning how to advocate for their children and learning about the landscape of education. We're so proud of that cohort. It's strong. They're mighty and they're going to be great movement builders. And so we're very excited about that. And this weekend, guys, join us on our Facebook page and on BET for a documentary by Soledad O'Brien, Disrupt and Dismantle. And that is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Love you and take good care.